Hello, and welcome to another episode of my 30 plus decks. Today I'm going to be showing off one that's definitely one that's a nice and simple and nice and strong deck. One that I would definitely give to someone if they're just kind of getting into Magic and want a nice strong deck. This is Leinore, Autumn Sovereign. So as far as this deck goes, I'll read her out, and then I guess I'll get into the deck tech. Linus's deck techs here. It's going to be 2 green and white for a 0/4 human noble. It has Coven as a keyword, which is I have 3 creatures with different power specifically. At least 3 creatures. I'm going to have more creatures, hopefully. At the beginning of combat on my turn, I put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature I control. Then, if I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, I draw a card. Bam. So with Leinore, there's a lot of things of just, hey, when this gets a counter, or, taps for more mana equal to its power, or whatever things that are great with, Selesnya and 1/1 counters, Then also, if I have 3 or more creatures with different powers, I am drawing cards, so getting that card advantage back. And it's a human noble. That's pretty much the other thing that's a good thing to note, is this is a human tribal deck, technically. This is an upgraded precon. I'd say heavily upgraded precon, because I stripped the deck apart and rebuilt it. I can't help myself. That's just kind of how I am. That's why I have so many decks, and I'll keep on adding to them. Speaking of, I did recently upgrade this deck with Edge of Eternity's cards, so hopefully some of those will make some debut. Let's just jump right in. I've got my hand ready, and let's see what we got. Turn 1. Draw. Oof. Perfect. Let's go with this. Creosote Heath enters tapped, deals 1 damage to target opponent. That's a crime. Let's go to turn 2. I will draw. Alright. I will go with this Exotic Orchard. Since it's something like I am assuming that I am playing against 3 opponents, but I don't know what they're playing. And so for all I know, I could be playing against colorless, mono black, and a red blue deck, and so none of them have green white. None of them can help. So in this instance, I just always assume that an Exotic Orchard is colorless, and then when I'm in an actual game with the deck, it could be all of my colors. It could be even better than it is in practice. So that's kind of how I use it, especially in practice. Continuing, let's go green and 1 for a Belt of Giant Strength. This is equipped creature has base power and toughness 10/10. Equip cost is 10, but the ability costs X less to activate, where X is the power of the creature it targets. So if I buff it up with 1/1 counters, for example, and then equip it, then its base power and toughness is 10/10, and it gets even bigger with the 1/1 counters. It's a very nice card in this deck. Let's go to turn 3. Untap and draw. Let's go with this very cool forest. Yeah. Like the bubbly forests from Infinity. And let's go 1 green. And let's show off some space. Loading zone. Warped. Let's just zoom in on it. Bam. If 1 or more counters would be placed on a creature, spacecraft, or planet I control, twice that many of each of those kinds of counters are put on it instead. Spoilers, there are no spacecrafts or planets in this deck. Actually, there may be 1 spacecraft, and that gives all of my other creatures 1/1 counters. Yeah, there's a chance that I put that one in here. Anyways, it's mostly just counters being put on creatures. So I realize that, and I love it, honestly. So warp, I'll get back to that. Warping it in for 1 green. And so at the end step, it's going to go to exile, and I can cast it for its main mana cost on a later turn. So, warping it in, and then... Oh, you know what? I it would be definitely going back on what I was saying that I was going to do. Here's what I was going to do. Deodrine, whatever her name is. Deodrine, Synthesis Amalgam. But, because it's something where I could pay 2. I have the 2 land, but I just said that the Exotic Orchard I'm going to use is colorless. So, sadly, I don't have the colors to do everything that I wanted to do this turn. And that being the case, I'm just going to hold off that loading zone for a different turn. I think that's still fine. So instead of doing something cool, I'll just go to my turn 4. I will draw. That'll be a Plains. I will tap out and cast Leinore. I will go to combat. I'll put a 1/1 counter on her, and I will pass. Go into turn 5. I will untap. And draw. Very nice. That's actually really nice for future turns. Let's go land for turn. I think I can do it now. Green and 1, using that Exotic Orchard for a colorless. For Gyre Sage, that is Evolve and taps for a green equal to the number of 1/1 counters on Gyre Sage. I will then tap a green for warping in that loading zone. There we go. And then white and a green for Deodrine Synthesis Amalgam. So enters with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of amount of mana spent to cast it. So it is entering with those counters times 2. So enters with it 4 1/1 counters, entering as a 4/5 trample. Whenever I attack, I may remove a 1/1 counter from each of 2 creatures I control. If I do, I draw a card, then make a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. On entry, because of Evolve, is entering as a 4/5, so I trigger Evolve, putting 2 1/1 counters on Gyre Sage. And then I will move to combat. I will put, let's see. Let me double check this, because that's 1 power, 3 power, 4 power. So yes, I will put the counter on Gyre Sage, which is 2 counters. I have power 1, 4, 5. So I draw a card because of Coven. And end step, loading zone is exiled into the warping zone, or whatever it's called. Let's go to turn 6. Untap. No upkeep. I will draw. Let's go with this land. Here we go. How do I want to do this? Right now, it's very cool. Gyre Sage can tap for 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This could be very neat. Let's go for it. Let's go green and 1, 2, 3. Recasting loading zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn 6. Recast loading zone. From exile. I will tap this Plains, cast Honor, which is put a 1/1 counter on target creature, then draw a card, which is going to be Gyre Sage, except it's 2 1/1 counters on Gyre Sage, and I draw a card. And then I will tap Gyre Sage for 6 green because of the 6 1/1 counters on it, and then Creosote Heath for 1 white. So effectively 5 a green and a white for Tristani's Summoner. Tristani's Summoner is awesome because it's one of these, it's one of like 3 or 4 ways in the deck to just instantly activate Coven. Tristani's Summoner says, when it enters, create a 2/2 knight, a 3/3 green centaur, and a 4/4 rhino with trample. So the knight has vigilance, centaur has no abilities, the rhino has trample, So it's a 1/1 that makes a 2/2 and a 3/3 and a 4/4. Let's see. 2/2 Knight. There's the 4/4 Rhino. There's the 3/3 Centaur. Very cool. Very beautiful. Let's go to combat. And I am putting double counters on things. I should probably put them... Well, let's see. I'm almost top decking. That's kind of what it is, so I don't really need to put them into Gyre Sage. I will put it into Deodrine. That is one counter, is two counters, and then I draw a card. Okay. Let's go to this final turn. Let's untap. Nope, still no upkeep. I will draw. Very cool. Let's play this Plains. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plenty of mana. White. I'll just tap this Gyre Sage for 6. So that's 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. So that's using 3 of these. So I still have 3 green floating. And 2 white. Casting Victory's Envoy. Where do we even want to put it? It's going to be overlapping. It's the last turn anyways. Last turn of this playtest, at least. Victory's Envoy. At the beginning of my upkeep, I put a 1/1 counter on each other creature I control. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Casting Bestial Menace. This is the another way to instantly activate Coven on my turn. Create a 1/1 green snake creature token, a 2/2 green wolf creature token, and a 3/3 green elephant creature token. So here's an elephant, a wolf, and a snake. Looks like I cast that recently or something. Here we go. And now it's one of these things where if I had an extra turn, all of my creatures would get 1/1 counter because of Victory's Envoy, which would be 2 1/1 counters because of Loading Zone. And then, for example, if I declare attack with Deodrine, which I guess it is too late to attack because I've already gone through combat and whatever, but if I were to attack with Deodrine, I could remove a counter from you, remove a counter from you, draw a card and make a robot. So that's all, just hypotheticals as far as how that works, because next turn, everything would be getting 2 1/1 counters, and it would be easy to just remove a counter from 2 things, make a robot every turn. Yeah. I like this deck. This is a very fun deck. Very, very simple in my mind. It can get a little bit out of hand. This is one of my few decks that has a Cathar's Crusade. I think that actually the only 2 that I can think of that have a Cathar's Crusade are this one and my Mounts and Vehicles deck with Caradora. And actually these 2, or that deck and this one, should be coming out honestly right around the same time. I was working with both of them, just like, okay, well, I have multiple Selesnya decks, and they all work completely differently. I have this one as a very simple 1/1 counter. You're drawing cards a little bit. You're you're honestly doing some crazy nonsense if you go unchecked. And green-white Caradora is it is also 1/1 counters, but it's vehicles and mounts, and it's a tutor in the command zone, and also hardened scales in one. It's so good. But it's mostly just mounts and vehicles, so tapping and untapping and retapping or whatever. And then the other one is Miri Weatherlight Duelist. That one is equip a cat. So a bunch of cats, a bunch of equipments. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I'm good. I'm not good. That is... I can't go with that. One whole land. That last game was so plentiful with land. Let's just shuffle up one more time. Here we go. And let's see how these fancy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, let's go with it. I'm gonna have to do something for white, but draw. Ooh, that's perfect. I think I'll go forest first. Go to turn 2, draw. Another forest. Go to turn 3. Draw. That will be Exotic Orchard. I'll pay 2 green and 2 for Kami of Whispered Hopes. Go to turn 4. Untap and draw. And yes, Kami of Whispered Hopes is one of the best cards in the deck. So green, let's do something similar to last game. Green to warp in Loading Zone. And then tap Kami of Whispered Hopes for a white, green, and 2, casting Leinore. Moving to combat. I will put a 1/1 counter on Kami, which is a second one because of Loading Zone, which is a third one because of Kami. Bam. End step. Loading Zone is exiled. Going to turn 5. Untap. And Kami of Whispered Hopes, I guess I didn't read it out. If one or more 1/1 counters would be put on a permanent I control, that many +1 1/1 counters are put on that permanent instead. Taps for X of one color, any one color, where X is its power. So it started off as a 1/1, tapped for 1 white, and then it got 1, 2, 3 counters. So now it's a 4/4, tapping for 4. I said untap. I have not drawn, so let's draw. Let's play a Blighted Woodland. Taps for a colorless, or I can tap 3 and a green and tap it, sacrifice it, search for up to 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Let's see. I'm honestly getting pretty close to Coven. I'll be able to get Coven this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could technically even... Let's do it. Green and 1, 2, 3. Hard casting, Loading Zone. And I'll do everything post-combat. Let's go to combat, and that will be choosing Kami. That is 3 counters. That is no Coven, but that's perfectly fine. I will tap in second main phase. That's 7, 8. All 7 of this is white. So let's just grab this. That's 7 white, 1 green. Ooh. Let's see. How much did I say? 7 plus 1 green, so that's 8. That's perfect. That's perfect. Let's go 5 white. So that's down to 2 floating. 2 white floating and 1 green. Herald of War. Whenever Herald of War attacks, I put a 1 counter on it. Angel spells and human spells I cast cost 1 less for each 1/1 counter on Herald of War. Then I will use the rest of it, white and 2, for Orzhov Advocate. This is a 1/4 human advisor. At the beginning of my upkeep, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control. If a player does, creatures that player controls can't attack me or a planeswalker I control until my next turn. So, That's pretty much a whole bunch of setup. Let's go to turn 6. Untap. On my upkeep, I am definitely going to put 2 1/1 counters on... Oh, let's see. Let's put them on Herald of War. Those 2 1/1 counters are +1/+1 because of Kami and Loading Zone. Oh! I've been doing it wrong. And I just realized. So, if you've been trying to correct me about Loading Zone, you're right. Loading Zone is not +1, it is twice that many. So, Kami getting a 1/1 counter +1 times 2. So it was actually 2 instances of 4 counters. So Kami is actually at 8 1/1 counters, so a 9/9. Herald of War getting 2 counters +1 times 2 is 6 counters. I played that last game a little bit wrong, and it could have been so much better. Would have been so much better, right? I'll have to rewatch it. But either way, something where Loading Zone is great, and no regrets. Let's go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually kind of crazy, because I can just tap Kami of Whispered Hopes, choosing white. I add 9 white. And then because of these 6 1/1 counters on Herald of War, that's entirely cutting out the generic mana for Odric, Master Tactician. But I still have to pay, because Enoch Bondkin is not a human or an angel. He's a dog soldier, but all dogs are angels, so we're not going to get into that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus these 5, so X is 10, for Kerbis, Harvest Celebrant. Enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on him equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it, which was 10, as I said. Remove a 1/1 counter from him, prevent all damage that will be dealt this turn to another target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. Cool. Let's move to combat. And I will put a 1/1 counter on Odric, which is 1 + 1 times 2. And see, simple math. Simple math. Anyways, I have Coven. I'm pretty sure I have Coven. That's 0, 2, 0, 1, 2, 9, there's 7, there's another 9, and there's 10. Perfect. So Coven, I draw a card, which is great because I was top decking. And I'm not going to swing because Odric is going to make that attack awesome next turn. Let's go to turn 7, final turn, and I'll make that the final turn of the video. Untap, and then I will draw. Okay. Interesting. I did forget my upkeep, and I will use my upkeep. That will be for Leinore. That'll be for my commander, which is 2 counters, which is +1, which is times 2, which is 6 counters on you, making you a 6/10, just like that. I will go ahead and tap Kami of Whispered Hopes for 9 white. One more time. Using 5 of it. Nope, it's a human, so using 2 of it for Victory's Envoy. That is the same one from last turn, or last game. At the beginning of my upkeep, I put a 1/1 counter on each other creature I control, which would be 1 + 1 times 2, so that'd be 4 counters on each other creature on my upkeep. I will use 1 of that white for Secluded Step, cycling it. Myriad Landscape. Am I doing this all on combat? No, of course I'm not. Of course I'm not. That was from tapping you and doing all of that stuff. I have not yet moved to combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Myriad Landscape as my land for turn. I'll go 1, 2, 3, and a green to crack this Blighted Woodfall. Search for up to 2 basic lands. Might as well search for 2 planes, right? I will shuffle. I will move to combat, and let's see. Enoch Bondkin is a dog. He's giving creatures I control with 1/1 counters first strike. But if I just swing in with Odric and 3 other creatures, so Odric, Herald of War, Kerbis, and Leinore, can all just be swinging in, and then I choose how creatures block. I choose who blocks. I can just say you don't block. So let's let this 3-mana fizzle go to combat, and I will put another 1. Let's see, we're at 6. So that is another 1 + 1 × 2. So you're up to 10 counters. I'll then draw a card. And then Leinore, Odric, Herald of War, and Kerbis swinging at whoever, and it's all unblockable because Odric said so. Yeah. And very similar to this I guess last game, Victory's Envoy is freaking awesome, and it's going to set up next turn, giving everything 4 1/1 counters. Something else will be getting that 6 1 counters. Leinore will be getting into range for killing with combat, or with killing with kindness and commander damage. I just drew into a Crystal Barricade, which is a 0/4 defender. I have hexproof, prevent all non-combat damage that will be dealt to other creatures I control, so any kind of damage, kind of board wipe would not really work, but, you know, regular board wipes, of course they would. Let's see. Anything else I can't... No, I think that was awesome. Sweet. Alright, I am going to wrap up. I hope you guys had a fun time watching. I definitely had a fun time playing for you. Like, this is definitely a fun deck. I try and make it simple enough. Strong, definitely strong. My bad for missing those loading zone things in the beginning. I definitely did fix myself, so, you know, it's all good. Feel free to comment about it either way. I'm happy with comments. I've been pretty good about replying about them too. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will do the same, and I will see you in the next one. Later.